check. I request everyone to please settle down.
Good morning, distinguished guests, visionary entrepreneurs, DeepTech enthusiasts, and trailblazers in innovation. We, Rohan and Anuvi, will be your hosts for this morning. Welcome to PRAVAAH 2025, Empowering Enablers. Here at the prestigious Pilani Goa campus, today we gather to celebrate the power of collaboration, the spark of innovation, and the transformative energy that propels the startup ecosystem to new heights.
हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कहा है कि स्टार्टअप्स आज के एक्सपोनेंशियल ग्रोथ का इंजन है जो नवाचार की शक्ति को दर्शाते हैं। कई बड़ी कंपनियां जो आज सफल हैं वो कभी स्टार्टअप्स थीं जो उद्यमिता और साहस की भावना से शुरू हुई।
As a Britzian, I have witnessed a lot of friends and faculty who have their own startups funded under Tide 2.0 scheme of MeitY by Incubator PIEDS.
Today's Incubator and Accelerator Masterclass is exclusively organized for the MeitY supported incubators and accelerators under the Tide 2.0, Samridh and Genesis schemes. This conclave aims to equip incubators and accelerators with essential insights, best practices, and strategies to effectively support and scale startups.
The Genesis scheme, initiated by MeitY, implemented by MeitY Startup Hub, is designed to foster innovation and entrepreneurship by supporting startup ideas through a network of 65 implementing agencies from Tier 2 and 3 cities. The Samridh scheme is designed to support accelerators in identifying and scaling IT-based startups with the potential to address India's challenges and create a positive social impact.
MeitY has been working to realize the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister to build a Vikshit Bharat founded on the intelligence, zeal, and perseverance of Indian entrepreneurs. Over the last few years, MeitY has established over 42 COEs, 51 Tide 2.0 centers, 22 Samridh centers, 65 Genesis centers to boost incubation and startup ecosystem.
Union Minister Shri Piyush Goyal ji articulated a vision to transform Goa into a mini Silicon Valley by establishing dedicated township for entrepreneurs, startups, and innovators. Shri Piyush Goyal ji emphasizes that sectors such as data centers, artificial intelligence, and electronics hold tremendous potential for Goa's economic growth.
Now, to mark the auspicious beginning of our event, we now invite our distinguished dignitaries to join us for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, symbolizing enlightenment, progress, and the guiding force of innovation. कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं ज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
To set the stage for the day's proceedings, we are honored to have with us Professor Suman Kundu, Director, BITS Goa Campus, who will deliver the welcome address. With his visionary leadership, BITS has been at the forefront of academic excellence and entrepreneurial empowerment.
A very good morning and a warm welcome to all the dignitaries on stage, off the stage, and everyone present here. On behalf of BITS Pilani and of course BITS Pilani Kekebilla Goa campus, where this event of PRAVAAH is being hosted. This is, as you already know, and Incubator Conclave and Incubator Conference organized by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, hosted by us, and also supported by PIEDS, which is the Pilani Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Society, and Biggie's BITS Goa Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship Society. Today is 21st February, and I'll tell in a minute why it's very important for us. But we are absolutely elated to organize one-of-a-kind conference on this campus, which has been functional for 20 years now. BITS Pilani as a university is celebrating its Diamond Jubilee. It's a 60 years institution, and you know it's an institution of eminence. And while we have trained students over the years, to become, innovators and entrepreneurs in their own rights, which is why often BITS Pilani is called the University of Entrepreneurship. We have also stressed and emphasized on research and incubation in the subsequent years, and we have been doing absolutely well. I am delighted to have Mr. K.K. Singh, Joint Secretary from MeitY here. MeitY has been growing under his visionary leadership. Welcome, sir. And of late, he has been consolidating Government of India's digital footprint, driving the Digital India program, and consolidating and shaping up India's technology landscape. We also have with us, Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao, our Vice Chancellor. Welcome, sir. And he, as you know, is an innovator in his own right, along with all his accomplishments as a scientist and administrator. He has been the director of IIT Delhi. He started his journey from IIT Bombay, and of course, he's with us. So I think those three universities, again, are among the topmost in startups that led by the startups in India. So I think it's some kind of a cosmic connection that Professor Rao is with us. And I'd also like to welcome all our dignitaries, on the stage. Shri Sanjay Gupta ji, you know, and also maybe I'll not read out all the names, because for want of time, but it's wonderful to have you with us here. And I think about 100 or more than 100 incubators across the country are represented here, which is wonderful to have you with us. And MeitY's dynamic startup incubation and acceleration ecosystem industry, the way that it has produced, we have, I think they have about more than 40 COEs, more than 50 tides, and 20 or 22 accelerators, and more than 65 implementing agencies, that that has been developed. India has been doing extremely well, and in terms of startups that are being created. And it's important that this meeting is being held here. As I said, we ourselves have produced about 17 unicorns out of the 118 that India has produced, from a much smaller system than any of the IITs, but we have been successful in doing so. More than 6,400 founders, co-founders, and more than 7,400 CEOs, worldwide, that we have produced. And many of our students, many of them are present here. They actually initiate their startups from the comfort of the hostel rooms, and many of them are actually, by the time they graduate, and often we meet them at our convocation ceremonies, are listed in Forbes 30 under 30. So it's a wonderful place. The ecosystem of BITS Pilani motivates and inspires such innovators. Each of our campuses do have incubators, Section 8 companies, technology incubator hubs. We have courses, for example, new venture creation that are taught in the evenings, and many founders, co-founders, our alumni, train them to how to create ventures, and it's ingrained in our DNA. So I think it's absolutely wonderful and very apt and very relevant that this conclave is being hosted here, and I hope you come back to us every year, right? So that's and Goa is a wonderful place to be in, and we can, along with all the discussions, deliberations that go on in the sessions, we can add on other events, as we go along. And I would, I'm elated to welcome you all, and hopefully you'll have a wonderful day. And I just want to say, as I mentioned, today is 21st February. As many of you know, today is Bhasha Divas, right, and International Language Day. So while you do all of this, English, of course, is the common language that binds us. But do spend time speaking in your mother tongue, and driving importance to it, as our Prime Minister and Government of India also promotes. And maybe I will start by welcoming you all. I don't know Konkani as much, but still Konkani is the language that is spoken here. How tumka sagnak me mogacho yaukar dita. That means I welcome you all to today's conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let us begin with felicitating our esteemed dignitaries, whose presence greatly enhances the significance of our event. We now invite Shri P.S. Madanagopal, CEO MSH, to felicitate Shri K.K. Singh Ji, Joint Secretary MeitY.
Thank you, sir. We now request Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao, Vice Chancellor BITS Pilani, to also felicitate Shri K.K. Singh Ji.
We request Professor Suman Kundu, Director of BITS Pilani KK Birla Goa campus, to also felicitate Sri P.S. Madanagopal.
Thank you, sir. We request Sri P.S. Madan Gopal to also felicitate Sri Rajeshwar Singh Janwar, Director and HOD, Software Industries Promotion Division, MeitY.
Thank you, sir. We kindly invite Professor Meenal Kaushik, Dean Administration, BITS Pilani KK Birla Goa campus, to felicitate Sri Rajeshwar Singh Janwar, Scientist, Software Industries Promotion Division, MeitY.
We now request Sri P.S. Madan Gopal to felicitate Dr. Sanjay Kumar Gupta, Senior Director, Software Technology Parks of India.
Thank you, sir. We now invite Professor Nitin Sharma, Associate Dean ARD, to felicitate Dr. Sanjay Kumar Gupta.
Thank you, sir. With a round of applause, we now request Sri P.S. Madan Gopal to felicitate Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao.
Thank you, sir. We now request Sri P.S. Madanagopal ji to felicitate Professor Suman Kundu. Thank you, sir. Our journey towards a self-reliant and globally competitive startup ecosystem continues to evolve, and leading this change is Sri P.S. Madanagopal, CEO, MeitY Startup Hub. He will now outline the vision of MSH 2025 and share insights on the road ahead for MeitY Startup Hub.
Presentation. Bring up the presentation, please. A very warm welcome and a very good morning to all of you. It's indeed my pleasure to again welcome you all on behalf of MeitY Startup Hub. I think it's extremely heartwarming to see that we have more than 100 plus, or around 100 incubators and accelerators under one roof. I think if Suresh sir can validate it, probably a mini ISBACon is happening here, right? So I'm extremely glad to have all of you, and thank you for joining us this morning in Goa, and looking forward for your participation and engagement through the day, so that we at MeitY can kind of work with you, learn from you, and ensure that we have a very fruitful day together. And not only today, today becomes a beginning of many more engagements to come between the all of it, incubators as well as the MeitY Startup Hub. So I mean, I'm sure you all known each other before. Some of you may be meeting us for the first time.
So it's one of the first event that we are organizing by MeitY Startup Hub. And the genesis of this event was to kind of bring together all the MeitY startups, supported incubators and accelerators under one roof, so that we can be one large think tank and kind of enable the real second edition of the Indian startup ecosystem. Right. So what we are looking at is, to start with, I would like to thank each one of you, because whatever we are doing in the startup ecosystem is not just about innovation and entrepreneurship. Every startup that we nurture, we support and create one direct job. We actually, there are about 3 to 4 indirect jobs that get created in the ecosystem, right? So I take this opportunity for you to shaping the innovation in the ecosystem and scaling entrepreneurship. And not only that, above all, it's a process of nation building. I think each one of you should be proud that we are all contributing to the nation building, which is a very, very important activity. We all know that young population, with aspiring population, with educated population, if they don't get opportunities, it is a perfect recipe for challenges. And the history has proven in the past, if young and aspiring youngsters don't get opportunity, they take to the streets for with a different purpose, right? So as a nation, we are coming together to ensure that our youngsters and our entrepreneurs and innovators get that opportunity, and that's why we should be proud of. India, as I'm not going to preach to the choir, we all know that it's India's largest innovation ecosystem, third largest innovation ecosystem and the startup ecosystem in the country. We have amazing potential ahead, and we look forward to kind of work together to make this even better. But the truth is, if you look at, can you go to the next slide, please? If you look at it, the entire government ecosystem is geared to work towards building this entire process. So about 17 ministries are doing work in the entrepreneurship and innovation space. Of course, led by Startup India, which is the custodian of all the startups. At MeitY Startup Hub, we are kind of pivoting with a core purpose of taking up that we are the custodians of all the tech and deep tech startups in the country. Today, across the country, we have over 70,000 tech and deep tech startups. By 2030, this will almost triple into about 1.8 lakh startups. So as incubators and accelerators, are we ready for this growth, this exponential challenge that we have? And how do we really, as government entities, how do we really support you to support the entrepreneurs? And that's why the whole theme of this conference or this event has been, I think, empowering the enablers, because our role is to kind of back you up. Our role is to ensure that we have a strong support system, and we become a backbone of you while you are delivering it to the startups and the innovators. So it's extremely important that we have a large opportunity ahead of us, and we should build ourselves in terms of building a capability in that direction. Right, and you all would have seen the slide, the incubator network, incubator accelerator network in the country is kind of pretty much evenly spread, but there is a skew towards about 4 to 5 states, which becomes which is leading this. But it's time for other states also to catch up. So you should encourage more of your fellow colleagues in the respective states to build more and more opportunities to incubate and accelerate startups. Right? If you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, I think the whole idea. I was just doing some interesting research, and today morning we were having the conversation in the discussion area. The number of unicorns or number of have been ever incubated. It's not a very large number, right? As compared to about 180, but there's definitely a significant amount of now incubators coming up. But if you look at the numbers, the hustlers are hustling by themselves, and there are a lot of support that we could, a lot of startups that we need to kind of bring them into the ambit of incubation and acceleration support. So there is still a great amount of potential. How do we increase this coverage? And at MeitY, especially, we are looking at two or three key areas, which I mentioned. One is electronics, second is IT, is in tech, and the third one is deep tech. So, and most importantly, electronics and electronics manufacturing is one of our focus areas. So it's important to see how we can widen this net and try to bring about a very strong, ecosystem in the electronics and electronics manufacturing space. And of course, some of you may have seen this slide. Nothing to, maybe not very clear but from far, but the larger flower is actually the number of startups which are outside the incubation network. Right, each petal is about 500 startups. I mean, so it is very important to recognize that a huge number of startups are still outside the incubation and acceleration network. So we should build our capacity and capability to kind of bring them inside the fold and then drive the entire growth process. If you can go to the next slide. So in a nutshell, I think if you look at the 157,000 startups as per DPIIT, we have close to almost half of them are tech and deep tech space. But the real learning for me is in the last 3 months, where I have had the opportunity to look at from a nation's perspective. We have definitely built the width, and it is time to build depth. Because end of the day, we want strong companies, sustainable business models, and companies that kind of becomes, organization, and an organization becomes an institution that builds itself. So if you want to be in that direction, it is very important to build a very strong, depth in the startup ecosystem. And the onus is on us as government entities, as incubators and accelerators, to inculcate that and change the orbit at this point in time to focus on building companies with sustainable models. So that's something which is really critical. In that, all of us know what got us here will not get us there. So it's very important to kind of take this opportunity today to kind of deliberate, to kind of look at how we can all join hands together. And that's been my primary objective of bringing all of us together today, to kind of engage and interact and share your thoughts and share our perspective, so that we can kind of work together in the next 24 to 36 months to kind of go forward. So as I mentioned, we are also a startup in a way, MSH, MeitY Startup Hub. So we have been evolving in the last 2.5 to 3 years. And our pivot now is saying there is so many government agencies doing a lot of interesting stuff in the, you are aware of IDEX, Startup India has a Startup India, a lot of programs. DST has their own programs, and DBT has BIRAC. So a lot of things happening. How do we really take our positioning? What is our segue in this? So we have kind of pivoted and said that we will be the custodians of tech and deep tech startups, across the country. Emerging tech and electronics manufacturing is our focus. So what are we really looking at? So 3 key pillars. The first and foremost, as I mentioned, is about the entire building a comprehensive tech and deep tech ecosystem. So we all know that we are in the direction of building a deep tech ecosystem, but there's a lot needs to be done, even from a government side, from the incubators and accelerators side, in terms of compute capability, in terms of data sets, in terms of multiple other infrastructure, a support system that needs to be created for the tech and deep tech startups. So if you're looking at that, so we are kind of going to pioneer that, and with your support, with your kind of partnership, that we are going to drive that in the next 2 to 3 years. The second aspect is we all been talking about pushing the envelope in terms of technology into Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, and there's been not much really happening. But I'm very proud that when I joined MSH, there has already been a scheme called Genesis, which is primarily focusing on Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. There's about 65 centers across the country has been chosen. So that's going to be a very, very important second pillar for us, to ensure that we broad-base this technology growth and broad-base this technological opportunity for innovators and entrepreneurs in the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities to flourish as much as they are doing in the metros. So that's something which we are very, very keen about. third, but not the least, which is something which I've been extremely passionate about, is what I call inclusive tech. So inclusive tech again comes up at two layers for us. Again, women in tech is a very important part. We're talking women in core tech, not necessarily in a GCC job or in an IT enabled job. So this has been something that we want to hear from you how we could do this. This is an aspirational pillar that we have. We want to partner with you. We want your feedback and suggestions to see how we can build a very robust program in this pillar. The sub-segment of the third part of inclusive tech is what I call assistive tech. Right? Assistive tech is a very important area. A lot of times we kind of synonymize assistive tech with tech for specially able people. But believe me, if you are using Alexa, if you are using Siri, you are already using assistive tech, right? So it is for everybody. And in a country, while we are today a very strong country with a good population or a young population, within a matter of next 8 to 10 years, that we will be in a situation that we will actually have about a significant percentage of our population will be above 60. So even a geriatric tech is actually a assistive tech. So there's a lot that can happen through assistive tech, so which is something that we really want to pioneer. So essentially, to lay out, these are our 3 key pillars. As per our understanding, we are kind of driving this, but of course, we are open for suggestions, feedback, and we really keen to drive, kind of learn from the audience here and go back to the drawing board, evolve and reshape this if need be. So this is what we are looking at. Right? And all of this is not possible without you, right? Because in my past life as the Chief Innovation Officer of T-Hub, I could directly work with startups. I could work with organizations, innovators and entrepreneurs directly. But here we work through you. We work through our incubation and acceleration partners. So it's going to be that's the reason we kind of thought we'll bring you all together under one roof to kind of bring a very strong bond between us, communication channels that can be opened up, and kind of opportunity to engage today through the day, so that we build strong relationships and strong communication, so that we are able to freely exchange ideas, exchange conversations, and solve our issues within, if at all there be. So having said that, I'm inviting you today to kind of seeking your participation in this journey of MeitY Startup Hub for the next 2 to 3 years. We're looking for a very strong partnership with all of you to kind of shift orbits, because there's a thing, you can't expect extraordinary results by doing ordinary stuff, or if you do the same, if you keep doing the same thing, you can't expect a different outcome. So we want to change the way we function. We want to change it for the better. We want to engage. We want to be open to feedback. We want to communicate. And more importantly, we want to perform and deliver through you. So I think that's something which we're really keen on. So the third expectation from our partners here is performance with delivery outcomes. End of the day, what matters is the outcome that we really deliver to the ecosystem. The startup success is our success. So one of the things I used to keep telling my team in T-Hub is never take ourselves too seriously. Our success is our startup's success, because that's essentially what we have to look at. They are our show masters. They are really driving our brand and imagery. If they succeed, we automatically succeed. I think that's something which I want to really reiterate in this point in time. Having said that, I think it's time also for us to look at a much larger picture, because essentially the opportunity is large. It's not about my incubator, it's not about my startup, it's not about my location. It's about looking at a national picture. It's about looking at a much larger landscape. So I'm again inviting you to collaborate, because there is no need for, the headroom is so large, the growth opportunities are so large. There is absolutely no need for really on each one of us to compete, but the need for us to collaborate is much higher than being a competition. So I'm looking at much more engagement to drive this collaborative approach. The most important thing I would like to share is also the focus on governance, because and compliance, because all of us know what we do first in early stages as startups impact at multiple stages as they progress. So it is on the onus is on us. I have startups who come to me after 5-7 years of operation that they don't have basic documents with them, right? So the onus is on us when we are incubating them in the first year, second year, to inculcate a habit of governance and compliance, and try to see how we can build a strong foundation for the companies to kind of grow, right? So that's definitely the important aspect I would like to bring to the notice as well. If you get right, so essentially we are looking at an outcome-based partnership. We are also at MeitY Startup Hub working on an incubator accelerator assessment framework. It is going to be a merit-based program that going forward we will drive. Each one of us are accountable to the kind of money we spend from the public exchequer. So we want to ensure that there's outcomes, there's tangible and outcomes for this money that we spend. And I'm sure, and you've already been doing wonderful stuff. So I'm sure that now we can move from good to great work. That's something that we are looking forward as well. So in all that, that I really want to, if we can, MSH is your partner. We are here to, when I did my design thinking, is always looking at two, three stages of leadership. So what we call the heroic leadership, then comes the post-heroic leadership, and then comes the servant leadership concept, right? So if you today we are at MSH is your servant leader. We are here to facilitate, we are here to support, we are here to enable the entire incubation and acceleration ecosystem. So please help us to help you. So we will definitely do that. So having said that, as I want to say, coming together today is a beginning. There is so much more that we could do as one family, and we have a larger picture, keeping in mind the vision of 2047. We can definitely build some phenomenal companies, companies that can deliver national value, strategic value to the nation, and make a very strong India and a self-reliant India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful and informative words. Now, we have funding is the lifeblood of startups, and bridging this gap is crucial for their success. To shed light on Samridh's role in startup financing, we welcome Shri Sanjay Kumar Gupta, Scientist SOD, MeitY.
Good morning, all of you. I am Senior Director from STPI. Respected Joint Secretary, sir, Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, and the man behind all the startup initiative from our ministry, Shri K.K. Singh, sir. Vice Chancellor BITS Pilani, Professor V. Ram Gopal Rao ji, CEO MSH Shri Pani Selvam Madan Gopal ji, Director MSH MeitY Shri Rajeshwar Singh ji, Pilani, but ma'am, who I have a relationship with from IIT days, IIT Mumbai days, and representative from the incubators, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege to be part of PRAVAAH 2025 MeitY Incubators Conclave. I'll talk about little bit about STPI and the startup ecosystem created by STPI. STPI, Software Technology Parks of India, is an autonomous society under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. And we have been the cornerstone in fostering innovation and entrepreneurship within the tech startup in India through its initiative like Center of Entrepreneurship and Next Generation Incubation Scheme. In order to enhance the startup ecosystem, we have developed a collaborative model which brings together stakeholders, startups, industry experts, academia, and government bodies. This is to provide a holistic support system which accelerates the growth of tech startups. Presently, STPI has set up 24 centers of entrepreneurship across the country in emerging technologies, which are in IoT, blockchain, AI, AR, VR, ESDM, data science and analytics, medical electronics in various parts of the country. Through these UEs, startups have access to laboratory, mentorship, IP filing, go-to-market strategy, and market access. Till date, STPI COEs has supported 700 plus startups, who have created 1200 plus products and filed 470 plus IPRs. They have been instrumental in providing gainful employment to thousands of talented youngsters. For supporting the tech startup from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, STPI is implementing the next generation incubation scheme from 12 STPI locations, which are Agartala, Bhilai, Bhopal, Bhubaneswar, Dehradun, Guwahati, Jaipur, Lucknow, Prayagraj, Mohali, Patna, and Vijayawada. Under the scheme, STPI is providing the startup with a funding support of 25 lakh rupees. More than 600 startups have been supported under this scheme so far. Considering the financial support, mentoring, and networking opportunities, STPI has supported a total of 1,300 plus startups through its startup promotion programs, which are COEs and NGIS, out of which 200 plus startups have been provided funding support. Cumulative reported figures include more than 2,000 products with more than 900 IPRs and more than 17,000 employment generated so far through these NGIS. In addition to this, to accelerate the growth of startups, particularly from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, by providing high-quality mentorship, facilitating investment opportunities, and fostering global connections, STPI has launched Leap Ahead initiative in year 2023, which gives the acceleration support up to 1 crore rupees. Building upon the success of our Leap Ahead first edition, STPI launched Leap Ahead second edition on 15th October by the hands of our Joint Secretary, sir, in Delhi. In the first edition, 87 startups were selected. These startups have undergone 3 months of rigorous mentorship program. 12 startups got opportunity of global exposure, and 24 startups have secured investment so far. Out of the total commitment of 78 crore received by 50 startups, 24 have received fund of 40 plus crore from Next Gen Technology Fund 1 and various investors. So I urge all the incubators present here to leverage the potential created by STPI through its ecosystem and may explore the possibilities of collaboration with STPI to further strengthen this startup ecosystem. I hope that such collaborations will help in aspiring tech entrepreneurs of the remotest part of the country to become a job creators and contribute towards nation building. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The symbiotic relationship between academia and entrepreneurship has been a catalyst for innovation. Here to share his insights on this crucial dynamic is Professor V. Ramgopal Rao, Vice Chancellor, BITS Pilani.
Yeah, so good morning. Very happy to have the MeitY Joint Secretary Shri K.K. Singh ji and other MeitY officials. And so I think Goa is probably the right place for an event like this. You also need high spirits, to to organize such an event. So I think I'm sure Goa provides all of that. And in fact, MeitY is doing a great job, and I work very closely with certain divisions of MeitY and also with DST. India is now ranked third in the world for startups. I think all of that has happened thanks to the very proactive policies of MeitY, DST, and all the government agencies. I think India has done very well when it comes to the startup kind of an activities, particularly this particular government last 10 years, I think have made a huge difference. The Startup India kind of programs, all of that, that's one thing which no one can complain, the government's role. And I have multiple reasons to be interested in this event. In fact, I served in IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, and BITS Pilani. All these three also rank among the top 3 when it comes to the startup activities. And this campus, BITS Pilani, for example, has 17 unicorns, and this campus has 3 unicorns, and it's just a 20-year-old campus. And I think the Pilani, that whole system has it in the in the blood, in the water. In fact, when I joined Pilani a couple of years ago, and everybody said the BITS Pilani is so well known for startups, right? And what is it that has made BITS Pilani, what it is when it comes to startups? There are over 6,400 founders among the BITSians, right? And there are, like I said, 17 unicorns, of course. But over, the total value created by BITSians through startups is about 80 billion US dollars, right? So what sets apart, in a desert like Pilani, what made all these people to do so well in the startups? Sometimes we don't realize. You always hear about the Hsinchu area in Taiwan for the semiconductor manufacturing. Just a 100 square kilometer area in Taiwan actually produces something like 70% of the world's semiconductor chips, and there are books written about it, and everybody in the world knows about it. But have you thought about why the Shekhawati region in where Pilani falls, right? Its history, nobody would have actually known the history of Shekhawati region. If you think of the today's business houses, right? From that Shekhawati region, which probably is the same size as the Hsinchu region, right? That Shekhawati region in Rajasthan, where BITS Pilani is located, has produced Birlas, right? All the Birlas came from there. Piramals, Goenkas, Dalmias, Sabus, the Modis, Poddas, Bajaj, Singanias, Kajarias, right? All of them have come out of that one single place, Shekhawati region, right? Every business house in the country has sprung out of that desert. And I think we need to also study the history of these places and what made that history become produce such business families and business houses. Of course, it's a different thing that they all succeeded after they left that region. But but whatever it may be, I think we need to understand and study the history of these places and see if we can replicate it at other places too. I think that's the reason why we sometimes need to study some of these kind of aspects. And of course, I'm very happy that this first event on incubators is happening in Goa, right? And I'm sure, in fact, I was telling the JS that make Goa the permanent place for these conclaves. Every year, we will be happy to host you here and then, welcome you to Goa. And so these events are very important because I think this way we can also learn the best practices. I think through these discussions that happen today, I think you will also know what others are doing better, what you can do or what you can teach, what you can learn. I think that way these events, these conclaves are very, very important. I personally, I am an entrepreneur myself. I have 2 startups from IIT Bombay. POINI is here, the NanoSniff, which supplies explosive detectors to airports. At least 13 airports have our explosive detectors. My another startup is SoilSense, agricultural, the sensors for farmers. That company is also doing very well. Both these now are, the NanoSniff was incubated in 2011 and SoilSense in 2018. So I think both of them are doing well, and I think they will survive now, and how much they will grow, I don't know, but they will definitely be there for a long time to come. But I think my worry about incubators is these are all very minimalistic. I think that's what I would use for all the incubators. Today, if a startup comes to you, right, saying that I would like to incubate with you, what do? You provide a room, right? You provide a table, you provide a laptop, and you say that all these people are there if you need some finance help and that kind of a help. That's all what we provide, right? That kind of a support is good enough for certain kind of startups, but it's not good enough when we want to move up the ladder to go to that IP based startups, right? If you want to incubate more and more IP based startups, more product kind of startups, I think this table chair room will not help. I think you need to create a much larger ecosystem for these startups to thrive and succeed, and that is still a bit of a challenge. In my startup NanoSniff, if I had done that in the US, right, I would have of course raised 10 times more money, right, but I would have done the same thing in half the time. Whereas for NanoSniff to launch a product, it took us full 10 years because everywhere it's a challenge. You build one prototype using IIT Bombay facilities, but then you need to make 50 systems. Now, where would I go and make 50 systems? Now, if I want to make 50 systems, I have to go to, in India, there are no manufacturing facilities, particularly in some of these deep tech kind of areas. So I needed to, hire the services of somebody abroad. and for them, they would cost so much of money. A startup in India would never be able to raise that kind of money to be able to hire the services of those agencies in the US or Europe or even in Taiwan kind of places. So that wouldn't work, and therefore trying to create those facilities, again MeitY came to our help. We created the entire prototype manufacturing facility for sensors in IIT Bombay itself, right? So getting MeitY permissions, establishing the facility took us full 3 years. And then another 2 years, and almost 5 years have gone in just getting that product from 5 systems, 10 systems to 100 systems and 200 systems. And we are only supplying still about 100 systems per year. Now when we move to 1,000 systems and 10,000 systems, we again don't know now where we will create those kind of facilities. I think that is where we need to now move up in terms of the incubator model, right? I think for this now, particularly when you want to get into the DeepTech kind of startups, right, the IP-based kind of startups, academic institutions have a major role to play, because all these facilities are available on these campuses. And I know that in many institutions, even that access policy for startups to use that facility is even non-existent, right? Now, when you go and ask, some laboratory where the facility is available, they will treat a startup like an industry, right, and ask them to pay up money, and then it becomes a big issue. And then when a faculty member who has a startup wants to use his or her own facility, again there are conflict of interest policies, right? No institute has been able to solve the conflict of interest issue when it comes to faculty startups. I think some of these at the institutional level we will not be able to address. No director, I faced that problem with, government wanted to give a large project to us to develop explosive detectors, and we needed to employ or hire the services of my own startup, right? Because they are the only guys who know how to build those prototypes and then launch them in the airports and all of that. But then how do I now engage my own startup with a government funding? I can tell you that issue has not still been solved in the country, because there is a direct conflict of interest. I cannot get government money and then transfer it to my startup and then launch a product, right? No institute would allow, particularly no government institute would allow, right? But these things, we tried hard. We tried to resolve those kind of issues. How can faculty who have their own startups work with government funding, right, without anybody raising issues with the conflict of interest? I think that is where we need to make policies centrally, because institutions will not be able to resolve this issue. I think a very clear kind of a policy directive from government on how entrepreneurs in the academic system can work with their startups with government funding. I think some of these are still unresolved issues, which are in a way hampering the growth of these IP-based startups. And to me, the future incubator, should look very different. The future incubator is the one which will proactively look out for IP. If you look at all Indian institutions now, we are today the 6th largest in the world when it comes to patents, 6th largest in the world. Or in fact, India is growing in double digits when it comes to patents, and no other country is growing in double digits for almost like 5 years, 7 years. Our economy is not growing in double digits, but our IP is growing in double digits now, right? We are producing so many IPs right now. And the usual thinking in general government circles and academic circles is, you license that IP and earn money, right? It just doesn't happen. I mean, look at Stanford. You can actually go to website of Stanford and look at how much money did Stanford earn last year through IP licensing. If Stanford is middle of Silicon Valley, right? I mean, the hub for innovation, how much money do you think Stanford has earned by licensing their IP? 0.58% of their total revenues came out of IP licensing. 0.5%. That's all the revenue Stanford earned by licensing their technology. But why do you file patents in academic institutions? But if you look at the same Stanford, how much money they earned to startups, right? Out of this IP came startups. Out of this IP, they helped industries. That total valuation of the wealth created because of the IP created in startup crosses about $3 trillion US, right? So therefore, the IP creation basically helps the monetization of IP happens through startups. right? If you are not monetizing your IP to startups, you are actually wasting money filing more and more patents, because nobody is going to come to you, take your IP and pay you, 100 crores or anything like that. It might happen once in a while. I know one instance in IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, but that's once in a blue moon kind of an activity. You can't be filing 200 patents and then keep expecting that somebody will come and license your IP. The only people who are becoming richer through IP are the lawyers right now. Nobody is actually getting richer in this country. But that is where the IP-based startup policy is very, very critical right now. We need to resolve issues. We need to encourage institutions to come out with more, companies based on that IP. That ecosystem we need to create. That won't happen with a very simple, minimalistic kind of an incubator. And for that, you need to work with industries. I think our industry bodies, without that, today as a faculty member, if I want to manufacture something, where would I go? I don't even know how to manufacture something. I don't even know how to get those CE certifications and all of those certifications required for me to, launch that product. I have no idea how to, test it for reliability. I have no idea how to get it into the market and, market that product. I am a faculty member. I know how to build a prototype with great difficulty. I know how to publish papers with least difficulty, because I can write any number of papers kind of thing, right? So now expecting a faculty member to go and start a company and make it a unicorn is not going to happen unless you bring in that expertise into the system, into the incubator, where you have these experts who will advise on manufacturing, experts who advise on prototyping, experts who will design your products, experts who will help it market, experts who get that certification. That ecosystem currently doesn't exist in any of our incubators right now. I think we need to move up in that value chain. Our incubators need to, hire all of these best practices, get those best people on their roles, right, who can help these startups around IP, right? And these incubators should also not just look at their own institutions. Many institutions like IIT Bombay or BITS Pilani or IIT Delhi should move out of their own institutions now. I think many of them, though they say they are open incubators, allow anybody to come in and incubate, but they are still very centric to that institution. I think they have to become the national incubators right now and look for IP in all academic institutions, where there is potential. They never do that, right? Unless somebody comes to you and says that I want to incubate, you don't do anything about it, right? But some of these incubators need to scout for IP. Look for, what are the gaps in the society, look for which institutions have filed patents, talk to those faculty members, identify IP which is at a TRL, 3 or 4, and then build teams around that IP and build products around that IP. But that a faculty member would not even do. Faculty members, are now, we were very good in publishing papers. Now we have also become great in public filing patents, right? That ecosystem now exists. BITS Pilani files about 150 patents every year. Now we might reach 200 patents kind of a thing, right? So that we have figured out how to do that, right? But then beyond that, a faculty member is not even interested. 90% of faculty think their job is done. Once there is that bullet in their CV that helps them with promotions and other things, why would I go on and then, put myself into all those difficult situations, uncomfortable situations, raising money, doing all of that? That's not going to happen. I think incubator role also needs to be to proactively scout for the IP, right, and help this IP to become a prototype and eventually a product. So therefore, I think that ecosystem we need to create that involves faculty members, that involves PhD students, that involves industries, that involves industry bodies, and of course there is government in doing all of that. The government role to me is not just funding, but also the policy, right, for these entities to come together. Without, government acting as that matchmaker, we will never really work with each other. I think that is the role for government to either incentivize through kind of financial kind of things, or through policies, right? That if they can bring all these entities together, I think India can do great things. And I think to me, our startup founders, to me, are the freedom fighters, right? Only they can, relieve this country out of all of its miseries. I think without startup founders, no politician is going to do that. No one else is going to do that. If India ever becomes a developed country, it can only happen through our startups and our innovation kind of ecosystems. The last point I would like to leave you with is the PhD programs, right? We need to modernize, or we need to complete relook at our PhD programs, because if you want the deep tech ecosystem to thrive, if you want more IP-based startups to come up, right, it has to happen faculty members along with the PhD students. Now, PhD students, not even 1% of PhD students today are actually getting into entrepreneurship. Most of the entrepreneurship today is done by the BTech students. Now, the BTech students, what do? They can aggregate the Dobis and create a Dobi app or a Carpenter app or this app, that app. But if you need to develop a real technology, that BTech students will never be able to do that. That will require a PhD student along with a faculty member. Our PhD programs are all to produce university professors. Other than that, the PhD programs haven't changed even one iota in the last 50 years or so, right? How can we turn our PhD students into entrepreneurs? In BITS Pilani, we did that experiment last year. We started a PhD program called PhD Drive. DRIVE stands for Deep Tech Research, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, right? We said, we gathered money from VCs, the angel investors, from alumni, saying that we would like to admit PhD students whose job is to create a startup after 4 years, right? They will write a thesis, they will write some papers, may not write some papers, they will file some patents, right? But they will develop a prototype. The output of these PhD students, I say, is not 2D. 2D is a paper, but a 3D, right? A prototype. You can touch, feel. The examination committee will actually test the prototype that is built out of the PhD program and award a degree. So we started that PhD program. We gathered projects with a TRL 3-4. You don't want these students to work on basic research kind of problems. You want them to work on TRL 3-4, where a proof of concept is done. Now you take it to a product and start a company in 4 years, right? So we gathered such projects. We gathered funding. We said we will pay them 50% more than the regular PhD students. And from the beginning, they will have industry tie-up or a VC, right? VC is not vice chancellor, or a venture capitalist or an angel investor, right? All of these people will be part of the PhD student from the beginning to mentor the student. And the goal is, at the end of 4 years, build a prototype and then work with your faculty member to start a company. We gathered money for 20 such PhD students. We received 1,300 applications. When we advertised it, the first cohort of students, we received 1,300 applications. So there is that kind of hunger in the country to do that deep tech research, to do that startups, and including technology and all of that. But no institute in the country today offers that. That was a very successful experiment. Now our call for second cohort of PhD students under the DRIVE scheme is out in the newspapers and all that. People are applying. That is what I think some of these programs MeitY can launch at the national level, right? Can we create 500 fellowships for this PhD drive kind of a thing, right? Now, can we turn PhD students into deep tech entrepreneurs? So that's one major innovation that we need to do. Another thing which I tried at IIT Delhi when I was the director there was a FIRE program. FIRE stands for Faculty Innovation and Research Driven Entrepreneurship, FIRE, right? Where I said a faculty member who would like to start a company will receive 50 lakh rupee grant from the institute. We gave them grants of 50 rupees, all equity investment. Nothing is a grant as such. It's an equity investment. 50 lakh rupees we will do. We will give the faculty members sabbatical, right? Otherwise, why do faculty members take sabbatical? To go and teach in US or teach in Europe kind of a thing. Nobody takes a sabbatical. Sabbaticals are not even allowed in many institutions to start a company. In IIT Delhi, for the first time through a board resolution, we said you can get sabbatical. You can get paid leave to do your startup. You also get 50 lakh rupees, and then all the ways to solve the conflict of interest and everything. In some departments in IIT Delhi, every 5th faculty member turned into an entrepreneur, right? And so these are the success stories. More FIRE kind of programs at the national level, 1,000 fellowships for faculty to turn their research, turn them into entrepreneurs, right? Another 1,000 fellowships for DRIVE kind of program to turn more PhDs into entrepreneurs. I think that is what is needed in the country today if we want to move up the ladder and then get into more IP-based kind of startups, because that will create wealth. At the end of the day, if you boost a farmer's income, right? If you boost the crop productivity by 10%, you have created wealth right there. And if you boost the efficiency of an industry process, you created wealth right there. I think these can only happen based on the IP-based kind of startups. And I think all of us in this room have to play that role, because there is nobody outside, right? All the great, the minds are all here when it comes to incubation. The ministry is here. If we can launch some of these programs, I believe, India has a huge potential. And I will stop here. I think I have taken longer than what is given. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we would like to call upon Sri Rajeshwar Singh Janwar, Director and HOD, Software Industries Promotion Division, MeitY, to shed some light on bridging the funding gap, Samridh's role in startup financing.
A very good morning to our distinguished panelists, Professor Kundu, Director, BITS Goa, Ram Gopal Rao sir, Vice Chancellor, BITS, Sri K.K. Singh sir, Joint Secretary, MeitY, Sanjay Gupta sir, Senior Director, STPI, and my colleague, Paneer Selvam, Madan Gopal, CEO MSH. So task given to me is talk about Samridh program and what is the way forward. So we started thinking about this program in 2020, and we were doing workshops all over how to design this program, because Samridh is a mid-level program. It's an accelerator of accelerator. It comes into the play when a startup got incubated, and after that, what we can do. And thank you, Rao sir, for alluding on the points that we need to make a product-based startups, we need to base IP-based startup. And in MeitY, right now we are also working on few programs that how we can do the research based startups. And if you same point what you was alluding to, that if we see like in developed nation how many startups are led by PhD based founders, and if we compare that with India, the percentage are very, very low. So Samridh is, I will not say it's that kind of a program. We are crafting that kind of a program, but Samridh is towards the same directions. So it's an accelerator of an accelerator program where we select accelerators, we as a MeitY, and then these accelerators select startups which they are going to accelerate. Acceleration program provides the making product market fit, what are the gaps in the product, and providing with them with the demo days, investor connect, and branding of the product, those kind of services which accelerate, and also providing services related to IPs, these kind of services which accelerators are able to help. So in the first cohort of Samridh program, there were 55 applications, and out of all over India, and we selected 22 accelerators through multiple rounds of committees and presentations and examinations around 12 states. And they were supposed to accelerate 175 startups. So these accelerators were given a cohort size of 10, 8, and 5. And the funding thesis was very simple, that for each startup which you are given, so 2 lakh rupees per startup. So provide these kind of support to them, services to them. And then investment model is 80-20. So 80% of the equity which you are getting out of that investment will be held by the MSH, and 20 with the accelerator. And if this startup is able to get any external funding,
So sometimes what happens is accelerators have the funds either directly or indirectly through their partners. Then MeitY provides one-on-one matching funding up to rupees 40 lakhs. So this is the same thing which I was alluding to, that these accelerator partners, they are doing the portfolio management across their cohort, and then they can take the equity up to 5%. But right now, overall, if we see the equity, it is only around 2%. And then when any startup is exiting, 80% of that equity is with MSH, which it will reinvest, and 20% is kept by the accelerator. So accelerator also have the skin in the game, so that they are deeply involved. And this they are getting out of directly from the government. So these are the list of 22 accelerators which were there in the first cohort. I don't know whether it is visible or not, but if it is visible, the ones which are in the board, they are the accelerators which have more than 50% of their target. Some even have achieved 80, 90, and 100%. So, and this is the progress update on this. These 22 accelerators, they can, when they select startups, they select based on their own method. So MSH does not come into their investment model, how they are going to do. So they receive around 2,700 plus acceleration startup applications. And right now the revenue generated by these startups is 451 CR, and they have generated 292 IPs. And as Pani Selva was also alluding to, that out of these 175 startups, 47 are women-led startups. And these accelerators, 22 accelerators, they have conducted 300 plus sessions related to product market fit, what is the marketing exercises, funding connect, and these kind of 35 demo days, and investor engagement, more than 200 investors participated in it. And these startups were able to reach 314 crores of money. And they have generated around 2,700 employment. And what is the most important part is that the revenue growth of these startups is around 270% in the first 2 years of their startup. So this cohort has started in 2022 till 2024. The revenue growth was 270%, and valuation growth is 70%. There is chance of improvement there. But no investor have exited from these startups. So these are good startups. That shows. These are some success stories. I mean, Nayan, Rangde, Jayatri, and many startups have won many awards and also generated a lot of IPs and revenue and external funding. And now, based on this is the application status. Result is going to be out very soon. So from 55 applications right now, we have around 186 applications from across 23 states and 70 cities. And even out of first cohort, 50% of these incubators and accelerators, they operate from tier 2, 3 cities. So there are various, even there are universities, institutions, industries, R&D organizations, everyone is there in the mix. So the program is growing day by day, and but this brings us with more responsibilities, like how we can, so like thinking forward, I mean, first thing we have to, ultimately why accelerators are important. I mean, they are here to fund a startup, but two things in personal perspective, this is just personal perspective, that what accelerator really provides to a startup. They really provide to a startup, first thing what they provide is the external validation at the early stage. if they are able to get external funding, somebody who has been in the business from the long time, they see value in their idea and product. And that external funding at less mature startup city also. That is also very important, because this kind of acceleration program, which are very, very immersive in nature, a particular startup cannot go daily to a big innovation hub to get those insights which these accelerator programs provide. And money, most of the time, these accelerators provide first funding either through directly or through their network. And then obviously they are cohort size, so startup learning from each other. Then duration of this program is 3 months to 6 months. Their weekly progress is being tracked. And then there are especially mentors and demo days which helping them with the markets. But how to raise success rate? So out of 175 startup, which was the first cohort, 106 startups were able to raise the external fund. So success rate is around 60%. The startups which were selected and which able to raise external funds. So how we can improve the rates in the second cohort? So I see that, whole day is filled with this. So there is first, what should be your financing model? So I see that even Mahavir Sharma sir is going to, with chair tie, he is going to take a session on this program. So I'm looking forward to it, and how Samridh or any other program of MeitY can benefit of it. Then even there is a session of branding of the accelerators, because accelerators ultimately have to bring money into the system. So whether what they are doing for their branding, there is a, Shraddha Sharma is doing, from your story is doing that. But how we can create more and more deep tech startup, a thought process which is also Rao sir was alluding to, and very, very necessary for, so there is a mentoring session from Atul Batra sir from NASCOM Product Council, knowing him, even he was involved when we were drafting this program, Samridh. And then there's a partnership from where Utkarsh from Hero MotoCorp is going to, partnerships are very important, because any success story you will see that it is through various partnerships. And so that also I'm looking forward. Then the next question which Samridh as a program is seeing forward is how to create cluster of tech focus incubators and accelerators. And I think this thought process across the talk, I saw that everyone is competing with themselves and they want to create a brand. But as Rao sir or KK Singh sir was saying, that ultimately we have to take forward and we can see this very much happening in sports. Like even if you play a football, see a football match, or play a cricket match, or see a cricket match, even though they are fierce competitors, but every good performance is applauded not after match, but even during the match. So that kind of a cluster ecosystem, how we can create. So there is a strategy to support startup from Professor Srivardhani Jha ma'am from NSRCell. I'm looking forward to it, also being an alumni there. And then there is an incubation model classes from Pilani ma'am. So I'm looking forward to it. And based on these inputs from you, also there is a direct interaction from all accelerators and incubators. We are here to take your feedback and how we can improve our program. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wise words. This session will witness the launch of the MeitY Startup Hub Handbook and the MSH Community Channel, an invaluable resource for our growing startup community. Now, I request all dignitaries to kindly launch the handbook and the community channel. And I request the volunteers to distribute the handbook to our audience. I request all the dignitaries to kindly launch the MSH community channel. Thank you. It is with great honor that we invite Shri K.K. Singh Ji, Joint Secretary, MeitY, to present MeitY's vision for a vibrant startup ecosystem.
I think already 1.5 hour is over. So attending a long lectures, a bit tough. So I think a lot of things has been already spoken by the experts. So I'll not take your much time because I don't feel that all of you in Goa. So that level of energy is a bit down. So but any, so anyway, you have to cope with me for another 5 to 10 minutes has been given to me. So you will have to cope with me. So dignitaries on the dais, Professor V. Ramgopal Rao Ji, Vice Chancellor BITS Pilani, and other dignitaries, CEOs and CEOs of the incubators and accelerators present here, my colleagues from MeitY Startup Hub and Software Technology Parks of India, and other esteemed guests present here. So warm welcome on behalf of Ministry of Electronics and IT. First of all, I would like to share that this is my first experience to have an opportunity with so many of incubators, accelerators present at one place. So I'm honored here to be with all of you, being you the leader and shaping the nation. कहते हैं ना पर्दे के पीछे से काम करते हैं हीरो, और फिल्मों में तो अलग से दिखाई पड़ते हैं हीरो हीरोइन, but actually those who are working. So from in the 10 years, from around 500 startups to currently we are more than 1.5 lakh starters. So all of you are behind. So for me, you are the heroes. So let us yourself give a big hand for yourself. So I think that this is what I think. Now I feel that you are in Goa. So in this mission, probably, because you see the government can right now frame a policy, can fund, but actually implementation part is a very important part that we cannot do. So MeitY Startup Hub, MSH is one of our extended arm, which can extend our policies and frameworks to the grounds. So in that you are partnering with the MSH. So you are also a team member. For me, you are a team member. Your success is our success. So what I mean to say that, today I am here, I'm trying to get what is your ask for, what are your suggestions? Because you see gradually started from government to from public to private. So I hope, how many are private accelerators present here? Could you please, if you can, I find pretty less, but I have been told, so even though it's a good start, so gradually we have to basically, private sector has to come up with those, capabilities to meet the nation's requirement, government's objectives, what we want to do. So this is good sign, at least I can 4 or 5 I can see here. So yes, I have been told, tell about the policies of the MeitY. So I can just brief you basically what is the approach of MeitY. MeitY, you see in the beginning, probably we started with project, I think for any startup journey, it's a product development and then a business development. This is what I can tell. So for the product development, I think probably we started very early for the Tide 1.0 and Tide 2.0. Gradually we shifted from this product development to further support for the business development. So I think business development is one of the most important part, but yes, tech development, as VC sir has suggested that we should focus on IP. This is what also I think this was also my thought, because we see that, you see this mobile phone, around 1 lakh is the cost. But you see we are manufacturing in India. Even though as a contract manufacturer, like they are, I think they will be hardly getting 5%, 10%, I think margins in that business. But max, you can see around 30% profit is gone to the Apple because of the IP. So once they have created an IP, they are making out of the money. It has become a source of income. So now what sir has suggested, our focus is that for R&D, we should try to have a startup with IPs. And IP, I would like to add here, we have also recently we are going to launch a program, it has been approved, for international filing. For international filing, we will be fully supporting those startups as a service. Earlier it was a reimbursement. So reimbursement was a cumbersome process. Getting money after, I think it is 2 to 3 years process for getting IP for international filing. So now it will be a service. So I think it will help. I think within a month or 2 months we will be launching. So this is I think one thing which can help. Apart from domestic filing, we do have this help for the domestic filing also. But yes, international filing costs more. So for all the accelerators present here, this is my suggestion. If yes, you find any potential in the startups, do approach MeitY. MSH will help you. I think probably you put in that website, within a month we'll be launching this scheme. So this is one aspect what Professor Gopal Raoji has told regarding the IP. And second, about MeitY, I would like to just brief you about MeitY. We have basically in the domain of IT, ITS, electronics, semiconductors, and emerging technologies, AI, blockchain, IoT and all. So right now, as far as IT, I am looking after the IT software industry promotion division. So IT and ITS is roughly, the size is around 250 billion, sir. So we are aiming to double in the next 5 years, 500 billion US dollars. So until unless we have an ecosystem, we have a startups and all growing as a company. So until unless your support is not there, we won't be able to, not in the 5 year, but yes, these startup and unicorns will be definitely adding value to our vision. So yes, your role is very important in nation building. And apart from that, we are mostly focusing towards the tech, for the product development. So I think already it has been explained that we are having around 43 COEs. So I would like to have a suggestion. I think it's open for my division also in the MeitY. How can basically we can augment for business development for those 43 COEs what we are having? Because I think isolation of COEs yes, for DeepTech or any kind of approach for product development will be there, but until unless it is topped up, because I find those startups which are being incubated in those COEs, finally they find out and they try to find out what scheme, what program is available for business development. So we can have a, from suggestion from your side also can be there, how we can integrate these COEs with business development part also. And apart from that, India AI mission, I think all of you are aware. So I think for me it is important to inform you that in India AI mission we have 7 pillars to support this mission. The sixth pillar is regarding India AI startup financing. So we have a budget of around 1,942 crores to support deep tech startups in India AI. So I think this will be also probably through MSH will be giving wings to this program also. So we should also be prepared for that India AI mission. IP support has been already a lot has been explained, but again, my view is that awareness drive is there, yes, sufficient awareness drive is there. IP filing is also being done as VC sir has told, but yes, commercialization is one of the challenges we are facing. So my suggestion is that why don't, because you are the basically first-hand warriors in the, front, you are directly dealing with the startups. So why don't we have a business plans for how you are going to commercialize that? That kind of a study is right in the beginning, because in CDAC we have a center of excellence for IP. There we provide this kind of a service to the startups to have what is the landscape of their prior art search we are providing. So what will be the future of that IP? So you need some kind of approach. I think COE, this COE with the CDAC can be connected. If it is possible, you interact. I think probably in this program we have. So this part is, I think, sir, is a more important part, that we should not keep on supporting all kind of IPs for academic purposes. Yes, it should be, but yes, where government money is we are spending government money, let it be, I think, through proper way. Those IPs we are going to give a return. They are going to, commercialize those. We should focus on that. So this is one thing. So other than IP filing, international IP filing, domestic IP filing, this kind of a research and support for the future of the IP, this support can also, I think, we can get from the MeitY. So I think already we have discussed, Rajeshwar has already explained that gradually we are also moving towards a deep tech approach. Most of the schemes they are going to launch will be for deep tech. And already I think in Genesis we have some component, around 25. I don't know, we will be able to better explain whether this amount is sufficient or not, and how you will able to navigate through the issues, because this first time I think we are supporting with 1 crore for a single startups. So please, you are all open. I am here. If you any suggestions, MeitY Startup Hub is there, and I'm also there for you. I think it's an opportunity to with all of you for an hour. I think probably we will have a networking lunch here. So we'd like to hear any suggestion, anything to be a partner with the government for meeting our own objectives, so that you are the real person who will be implementing our policies. So challenges of the startups, a lot of challenges are there, like access to funding. Funding is one of the most important part, I think. We are in the government, particularly the deep tech. So I would also like to hear a suggestion regarding funding for the deep tech startups, because you see, the gestation period is much. I think it is 2 to 3 years probably. You can better tell me. So anybody investing and hoping for the return, I think it is a risk factor. So that is one thing that other government should come and support. For MeitY, other schemes are there. DPIT is doing something, but if we can have some separate corpus of fund, so government can be a limited partner. Any kind of a thing, any suggestion you can, if you can give it, we can also think of on that particular aspect. Regarding another issue is a compliance of, complex regulatory and compliances. I think one issue has been also raised. So this is one issue I think that challenges how it can be tackled regarding compliances and complex regulatory mechanisms, how it can be minimized. Rather, we are thinking of that our accelerator should have a minimum compliances towards us and towards MSS, so that they should more focus toward their works. You got my point? Yesterday we had a meeting, so in that it was discussed, even our organization, our partners who are working for our assignments should not have much compliances. So similarly, we need your suggestion how compliances can be reduced. And yes, you have to also support startups in infrastructure challenges, quality manpower acquisitions, and retentionship. Probably startups have a problem financially. Initially, I think problems are there. So with the limited resources, how to get a quality skilled manpower and then retain themselves. That is also a challenge that you have to help it out. Market access and competition. I think this is the biggest challenge that you have to support. And apart from that, we are also planning for global market access and scaling. This is, I think, this is one aspect MSS should focus, because definitely I hope many of the startups will be there who will have a definitely potentials. And we do have a schemes to launch them, to support them, to get the international market access. So this area, I think you definitely you might be working on that, but yes, MSH has a role to, make you enable to tackle all these challenges of the startups. Actually, one thing would I like to hear from you regarding the valuation of the startups. It's a really challenge in the initial stage. So most of the time we find that nowadays we have started equity-based funding. So most of the time it is delayed because of valuation of that. So how can we standardize? Can we make a standard format by taking into certain regulators and all those? We can standardize a format. So it will help us basically, it will for the investors and the startups also, so they will be informed about the valuation with the same scale. Otherwise everybody is a different scale. So always there are doubts. So this is one area, if you can suggest how can we standardize the valuation of the startups. So yes, these challenges basically you have to take care of. You have to navigate the startups so that they can meet their objectives and goal. And one suggestion is also, probably VC sir may like to comment upon that. Why can't we have a transparent ranking system like an NIRF is there for accelerators? You see, we are at around 1100 plus. Those who are performing, they should be recognized. I think I would request MSH CEO, if possible, why can't we reward the best performer accelerators? At least to start with that, but yes, why can't we have a ranking? You see, the starters are informed, we are informed. If we can have a certain framework based on your capacity, based on your past performance, based on your mentors, based on your many factors, parameters will be there, but yes, can be standardized. This will definitely help, because in future, I think role of accelerators is definitely, there will be a role of accelerator. For us as a government, it will be definitely helpful for us to, assign our job, and for the for the beneficiary ultimately startup. For them, it will be also helpful. They will approach to the best. And one thing, I think I should not talk negative, but we can also weed out few. There are very few, we need to weed out them also. That is what I mean to say. So now, I think PRAVAAH was a very wonderful word. PRAVAAH means flow. So flow, what we started few years back, we are continuing, and your role in this PRAVAAH is a very important role, because also the word he has used, empowering the enablers and igniting. What exactly the first line was there? Igniting innovation. Igniting innovation, yes, somebody can ignite, but maintaining is a difficult. That you people are doing it. Ignition can be, thought can anywhere it can come. That ignition, to let it that fire should continue is the most important part. So yeah, I appreciate, rather I think I will appreciate my CEO, PS for creating such a gathering. And you believe I had planned for the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj. So I think this Mahakumbh is more important for me. So this is also a congregation of so many so many startups. So this Mahakumbh is better for me. So probably I've changed. Otherwise, tonight I plan to visit Mahakumbh. So this, I think I'm lucky to be with you people. So yes, as far as enabler is concerned, for enabling financial support is required. I think gradually we are improving the financial support to the accelerator. But yes, you are free to talk about. But I think you agree with me that from the previous programs to this current program, we are improving the financial supports to these accelerators and incubators. If required further, you come up in advance. We will take care of in if it's a essential for efficiency of this incubators. And I think regarding ranking, I have talked to you. I think those who are best performers will definitely like that there should be a ranking. Because for as a student, when we see an IRF, at least we get some, you forget about top IITs and few colleges, but yes, once you come down about 50 and 60, then you need some kind of accreditation, yes. So that is what my suggestion. And third is, I am not aware about, because so many, so many verticals are there in a specialization as a mentor for a business development, marketing, venture capitalist, compliances, so many things are there. So you need a lot of specialists in you for your support, for supporting the startup. So I don't know whether all are working honorary, because mostly I visit the startups, I see these mentors are honorary working. So honorary, I have a bit, yes, honorary, few of them can do, sir, but hand holding and delivery is a bit, for me, I don't think so. I think this cost has been taken care of in our DPRs, or they have to provide their own mentors. So this is one suggestion I would like for future programs, so that we can take care of this particular component, because we need, if you have to internationally compete, you need quality, not quantity. So we have to improve the productivity. For that part, I think I would like to interact when I get opportunity, how you are spending your mentors, because ultimately for business development, those are in the business development. Business, it's a mentorship cost. STPI has recently started taking 3 months program from IIM Kolkata. So they have package for compliances, for all those, they have a good package for that. And I have spoken to the startups, they are gaining, they are benefiting out of that. So I think we too have a management college here. Why can't we plan here? We can, funding will not be an issue if it is for proper use. So you come up with those kind of ideas so that we can work upon that. So I think it's enough, and I'm again with this my word that I'm honored to be with all of you, and definitely today whatever I time get with interact with you, it will be a very wonderful, I think rather meaningful takeaway for me. So with these words, thank you so much. And again, I find that people, all of you are again dosing some of you. So please, I think we should have some coffee and tea in between, but I don't think we don't keep here. We have. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you all for enlightening us with your words. Now, we have a defining moment in our journey. Today, we witness the exchange of Genesis agreements. This marks a significant milestone in our commitment to fostering deep tech innovation and robust incubation networks. We invite our esteemed ecosystem leaders to join us for this momentous occasion, followed by a group photograph to capture this landmark achievement.
But first, we invite our incubators and accelerators to join us on stage. To ensure a smooth process, we'll be calling you up in batches. Please make your way to the stage when your name is announced.
Firstly, we have the representative from IIT Kanpur, Shiv Nadar, Atal Incubation Center, BIMTech, Technology Business Incubator, KITE, Amity Innovation Incubator, IPEC TBI Foundation, MeitY Incubation Forum, Navottam Startup Foundation, Spark GLA TBI, and Tirthankar Mahavir University Business Incubation Center.
यहाँ पे खड़े करवाऊँ बहुत दूर हो जाएगा यार
Everybody, please come to the stage when your name is called. Calling your names again. A representative from IIT Kanpur, AIC Shiv Nadar, Atal Incubation Center BIMTech, Technology Business Incubator KITE, Amity Innovation Incubator Lucknow, IPEC TBI Foundation, MIT Incubation Forum, Navottam Startup Foundation, Sparkle GLA TBI, Tirthankar Mahavir University Business Incubation Center. These representatives, please come onto the stage. Now for the next set of representatives, Tides Business Incubator, IIM Kashipur Foundation for Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development, Runway Incubator UPES, AIC ISP Association, Chitkara Innovation Incubator Foundation, STPI Neuron COE Mohali Punjab, IIT Ropar Technology and Innovation Foundation, ACIC BMU Foundation, Padoop Foundation, IIT Mandi Catalyst, CUJ Site Council, NewGen IEDC Business Innovation and Incubation Center.
Next, the following representatives please come on stage. Forge, Coimbatore Innovation and Business Incubator, AIC Race Business Incubator, Crescent Innovation and Incubation Council, AIC NIF TTEA Incubation Center for Textiles and Apparels, Center for Entrepreneurship Development and Incubation CEDI, Meka Village, Amrita Technology Business Incubator, Technology Business Incubator NIT Calicut, Indian Institution of Management Kozhikode, Laboratory for Innovation, Venturing and Entrepreneurship. Please come onto the stage.
Now the next set of representatives, Association of Lady Entrepreneurship of India, National Institute of Technology Warangal, Deshpande Startups, Manipal University Technology Business Incubator, Sayadri Hub for Innovations and Entrepreneurship, SHINE Foundation, AIC AMTC Medivalley Incubation Council, HatchLab Research Center, KL Technology Incubators Foundation, SPMMVV SPMVV Society for Innovation, Incubation, Entrepreneurship, Technology, Business Incubator.
Next we have KIIT Technology Business Incubator, Electropreneur Park Bhubaneswar, Foundation for Technology and Business Incubation, RISE Foundation IISER, Incubation Center IIT Patna, Indian Institute of Technology, Indian School of Mines Dhanbad, IIT Guwahati Technology Incubation Center, AIC SMU TBI, YouthNet, TILA Incubator, AIC RNTU Foundation, Anupam Innovation and Incubation Center, and IITI Drishti CPS Foundation.
For the next set of representatives, JECRC Incubation Center, ACIC VGU Foundation, PIDES BITS Pilani, IIM Udaipur Incubation Center, KS Patel Center for Entrepreneurship, Krishna Education Foundation, Karnavati Innovation and Incubation Foundation, IIMN Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, AIC ADT Baramati Foundation, Marathwada Accelerator for Growth and Incubation Council, Forum for Innovation, Incubation, Research and Entrepreneurship, IIT Bhilai Innovation and Technology Foundation, IBITF. Thank you, everyone. Now we will be beginning with the MOU signing and strategic partnerships. As we continue to empower and enable, we now turn our focus to a series of strategic partnerships, transformative MOUs that are set to reshape a startup landscape. These alliances bring world-class expertise, state-of-the-art resources, and unparalleled mentorship to our ecosystem. Let us introduce each of these groundbreaking collaborations.
I would like to request everybody to please settle down. Okay. Today we celebrate our landmark collaborations between T-Works and MSH. T-Works, India's largest prototyping center and manufacturing knowledge partner. Established by the Government of Telangana, T-Works is pivotal in supporting startups across sectors such as electronics, aerospace, defense, agriculture, health, environment, and textiles. Through this MOU, MSH-backed startups will gain direct access to cutting-edge prototyping infrastructure, manufacturing education, and expert mentorship. This partnership will catalyze hardware entrepreneurship, facilitating joint incubation programs, seed funding initiatives, and government-backed pilots that will propel startups from proof to proof commercialization.
Next, we have Tally Solutions and MeitY Startup Hub. Our MOU with Tally Solutions Private Limited is a testament to our shared vision for nurturing entrepreneurship through our joint workshops, seminars, and networking events. Tally and MSH will co-create a culture of independent thinking and innovation. Additionally, Tally will provide need-based technology training and a free 1-year rental silver license for DPIIT registered startups, ensuring that our budding ventures have the industrial and financial support necessary to scale to new heights.
Now we have Hero Motocorp and the collaboration with MSH. Together we aim to create an enabling environment for startups to thrive. This MOU will focus on supporting startups in areas such as mobility solutions, electric vehicles, clean energy, and digital technologies. By leveraging Hero Motocorp's industry knowledge and MSH's eco-building capabilities, we will provide startups with tools, guidance, and opportunities that they need to scale their ideas into impactful solutions.
Each of these partnerships is designed to empower startups with the mentorship, resources, and strategic insights required to excel in a competitive global market. Let's give a resounding round of applause to our partners and to the teams working tirelessly behind these transformative initiatives.
As we conclude the first half of our session, we extend our gratitude to all the distinguished speakers and participants. Mr. Sajid Raza, Senior Manager, MeitY Startup Hub, will now deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to PRAVAAH Incubators Conclave 2025. This gathering has truly been a remarkable platform for knowledge sharing, collaboration, and strengthening the startup ecosystem in India. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Shri K.K. Singh Sir, Joint Secretary, MeitY, Shri Rajeshwar Singh Jalwar Sir, Scientist Staff, HOD, Shri P.S. Madan Gopal Sir, CEO, MSH, Senior Director, STPI Sir, for their unwavering support in fostering and supporting the entrepreneurship and incubation in the India. A special thanks to Professor V. Ramgopal Rao, Vice Chancellor, Pilani, and Professor Suman Kundu, Sir, Director, for hosting us and for their outstanding hospitality. First, I would also like to thank all our incubators and the accelerators who your enthusiasm and engagement have made this conclave very truly meaningful. Your role in shaping the future of India's startup ecosystem is commendable, and we look forward to continue collaboration. Last but not the least, I would like to thank my team, MSS team, for their unwavering support for the last 1 week. Karthik, Simran, Utkarsh, Dinder, Pankaj, Rashi, Sonu, all of my team are working for last 10 to 15 days, day and night, to make this successful event. Because the first time MeitY Startup has invited all our partners, supported under TIDE scheme, Genesis, and Samridh. So it is the first initiative from our side. Hopefully, we will do this program every year. And I special like to thank also the Priyanka from the Pilani team. So she is coordinating from the PIDES team and supporting us in the every way. So I believe together we can come together and support the startup. And our next target is to create a unicorn or unicorns from ourselves. Because right now we believe that only a few of unicorns are come from the incubators and the accelerator. So MSH vision is to create a more unicorns and unicorns from their portfolio startups. And now special and last thanks to our student coordinator also. For the last 2 days, all the students, around 40 students coordinators, Parth and this team are working with the MSS team and the Pilani team to make this event a successful event. So with that, we now move forward to the next segment of this conclave. I encourage all participants to continue engaging, networking, and make the most of the upcoming session. Thank you so much for all of you to come here. Thank you so much.
I extend a heartfelt gratitude to all the dignitaries on the dais for their precious time. Now I request the respective volunteers to kindly escort them. The rest of you, please remain seated.